Hello, I'm Lightworker, and this channel is for targeted individuals, also known as chosen ones, where they can access some help in terms of knowledge as to how they can spiritually ascend, which actually stops the gang stalking from happening. And just quickly, I want to reiterate that the reason why the things like meditation and shadow work and raising your frequency and ascending spiritually stop the gang stalking is because if you're being gang stalked by low frequency entities, so humans that are on a low frequency state. And if you raise your frequency and you're in a high frequency state, they have nothing to attach to because they can't reach that frequency. Okay, and this is spiritual or emotional, or whatever you want to see it. Okay, so our frequency is based on our emotions. Our thoughts trigger our emotions, and our emotions trigger off a signal to the universe. And the universe actually feed us back the exact same frequency back. Okay, so the universe doesn't compute what you want. It feeds you what you feed it. Yeah, so if you're in fear all the time, the universe will feed you back more fear. Okay, and it took me a long time to realize this, and it is true. It is very true. And what we our thought process and the world we have in our mind, okay, so our perception, that creates the reality around us, okay? They're not separate. Okay, so our reality that we perceive through our eyes, our external reality, is a mirror of our psychological, emotional, and mental state of mind. Okay? And I don't care who wants to debate it, this, that, and the other. I'm not gonna waste my time trying to explain myself to people that don't believe me. If you don't believe me, please scroll on. I don't have time to waste on doubters. I know this to be true because I've seen this in practice. I've turned this knowledge into wisdom, which is knowledge in action. Okay? And I really want to help people that have been gang stalked, as I've been gang stalked for a very long time, over 10 years. And I made it stop. And the way I made it stop is by doing that. And there's a method. I go through a method in one of my other videos as to how to have the gang stalking stop. But this is just to reiterate that a bit. And look, anyway, I'm Lightworker. Man, I made this channel for help targeted individuals because I don't think it's fair that low frequency fuckwits and fuckhead fucking governments, having this go on, all because of a bunch of satanic secret society shitheads, trying to sacrifice fucking innocent beings and then blame it on fucking targeted individuals. Because that's the whole ritual involved. It's not so much they want to get away with it, because I mean, by this point we've seen how much the elites get away with. They would just do it anyway right in front of us and walk away like they didn't give a fuck, because no one does anything to fucking about it. That's why that's another reason why I made this channel, because I want to do something about these fuckwits. I'd love to round them all up and fucking give them prison sentences, Oh, fuck. But the thing is, I don't believe in jail. I don't believe jail has any purpose. It's just another means of control, another section of the matrix. But they need to be held accountable, and they need to be overthrown from their positions. 100%. 100%. And discredited and publicly shamed and put on point. But no, no one does fuck all. Like the governments, because they're funded and run by these dipshits that are in cahoots with, big players on the board, like members of the CIA. Like Epstein was a member of the CIA. He worked for the CIA. He worked with the CIA. And Sure, he got arrested. Did anyone else get arrested? After the Epstein files got released? No. There was one person that got the 20-year sentence. I can't remember his name. But that was before the Epstein files got released. I don't appreciate being lied to by the government. I don't appreciate being put in a position where I had to fight for survival for 10 years because fucking over-entitled pieces of shit want to fucking, do satanic rituals involving abusing children. It's fucked up. And I don't want to, I don't want to sit around and act like, oh, it's not real. Oh, I doubt that. No, I know this shit to be true. Yeah, I know this shit to be true because of what I went through. Being gang stalked, how many times I nearly got set up, how many times I nearly got killed, how many times, at the end of it, they were just trying to kill me. They couldn't set me up because I was too spiritually protected. There was times I've been through some shit that I should not have survived from, and some shit that I should have been sitting in jail sentence over being framed for. But I walked through it all. And I'm still here. I'm still free. I'm still doing what I'm meant to be doing. I'm still, living in my highest self, reaching my highest purpose, and reaching my spiritual purpose. Yeah, and I don't ever want to turn a blind eye to pieces of shit being pieces of shit. You know why fuckwits be fuckwits? Because fuckwits let them. And I don't have time for that shit. I got all the time in the world for someone who wants to better themselves. I got all the time in the world for someone who wants to, be open-minded to spiritual concepts that actually assist them. But I don't have time for naysayers or doubters or fucking evil, fucking satanic pieces of shit. I don't have any time for that shit. All I have is what I have. And that's enough to make big fucking changes. And over a period of time, I know I can't move the whole world in one day, but I know I got God with me. I know I'm planning on moving big fucking mountains, and God's going to do that for me, but I've got to bring a shovel. I've got to bring a shovel, and anyone who want to help got to bring their shovels, and we've got to shovel some shit up, and then get rid of that shit. And all that has to do with governments, organizations, big pharma industries, the prison system, the legal system, the even at this point the education system, because it's full of shit. I remember when I was in school, when I was in primary school, even in the early years of my high school, I was told by teachers that Australia was colonized because of a thing called Terra Nullius? Is it Terra Nullius? Yeah, I think it's Terra Nullius. And in other words, there was no fences here, so it gave them the right to take control of the country. That's bullshit. There was fucking six large battles with hundreds of thousands of people on the battlefield fighting. And you know what? The indigenous brothers, they were that good at fucking up the pieces of English shit motherfuckers that were invading, right? The ones that would just rip through fucking whole fleets of these fucking English dickheads trying to invade a fucking country, right? These indigenous brothers, they'd fuck them up hard, and they were persecuted so badly. These certain warriors were persecuted so badly that once they were killed by the English, the queen, or sorry, not the queen, the monarchy at that time wanted the head of the indigenous warrior sent back. Yeah, and there were 6 large battles, and it was a massacre, and it was putrid. It should never fucking happened. Most of my mates are indigenous, 100%. Fuck, and I got mad love for them. But this shit, like, if the Australian government was truly fucking sorry, they would have given the government back to the Indigenous people. They would have given ownership of the land completely back to the Indigenous people. Not create a 10-point fucking 10-point plan to John Howard that they still stand by that. Oh no, we can give them certain land properties and that on a very minor scale. But if we find something that's 10 feet under the property worth money, we can move them again. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Anyway, I won't get too much into that. I just the propaganda that we're fed from the government's putrid, you know? And the only people that seem to try and do anything against the government are Indigenous fellas, are the minority groups. But now it seems like they're inverting all the minority groups too. The government are inverting all the minority groups, you know? I just heard that LGBTQ, has pedos attached to it. You know? That's fucked up. There's nothing wrong with the LGBTQ community. And plus, whatever, but apparently in the plus, they've added pedwars to it. Or something like that. I might have my facts wrong. I don't know. I saw a video on something saying that, and I was like, what the fuck? I haven't researched it, okay, so I could be wrong. I do make mistakes. I hope I'm wrong, because I've got nothing but praise for all the minority groups. I just got no time for pedwars. Look, I know the way that things are going to turn out. See, when I meditate, I can reach the Akashic records. When I'm in deep meditation, yeah? And this is no shit. I didn't expect this to happen. I don't necessarily want this to happen. I've seen some horrible things, been fed some horrible downloaded information while I was meditating, if that makes sense. Okay? Downloaded into my mind from the universe while I was meditating. Seen some horrible things. Horrible massacres, reptilian wars, the Galactic Federation massacres, involving the reptilians massacring the Galactic Federation, and also the Galactic Federation winning the wars against the reptilians. I've seen government agencies being crime kings in basements, soundproof basements. I've seen heaps of stuff, and I don't choose what I go to look into when I'm in the Akashic Records. I just get these downloads when I'm in meditative states. And something does not want me to say this. I'm sad. Sorry. When I get an itchy eye or choked up throat or itchy nose, it's someone doing spell work to try and stop me from speaking my truth. And I can astro travel. It's really cool when I astro travel, because I keep seeming to develop more gifts while I'm astro traveling. So I'll be astro traveling in meditation, and then while I'm astro traveling, I'll start teleporting as I'm astro traveling, which was really cool. One time I was astro traveling in meditation, and I'm like, where my house is, I flying around the city near my house, and then all of a sudden I teleported and I was like in the deep forest in the Congos, you know what I mean, flying through this big opening, big like trees and everything like that. It was amazing. And then before I knew it, I bang smack dead right in front of the pyramids, and it was like, fuck, it was a lot to take in. It was cool. It was really cool. But yeah, that's just some of the things that I do in meditation. So meditation is really important, because meditation can help us be present. It can also help us ascend. It can also help us receive the information from the cosmos, or the universal collective consciousness, or God source, whatever you believe is the infinite Alpha and Omega, I guess. Because it's all the same. God is universal. And if you don't like the word God, the universe is universal. If you don't like the universe, the cosmos is universal. It's just how it works. Everything is interconnected, and I've seen a lot of stuff. Both from the Akashic records and my personal lived experience. And I know what to be true, and I know that the elites need to be stopped. And that doesn't mean we need a violent revolution, because that doesn't work. All they do is wait for it to settle down, implore a shadow government, a mock government, and all the rest of that shit. And it's all just puppets upon puppets upon puppets upon a puppet master. It's just bullshit. What we need is spiritual ascension. Because once we have spiritual ascension, we become sovereign within ourselves. And I know that probably doesn't make sense, but you have to learn about spirituality into it to understand that fully. And I don't have enough time to go into the full ins and outs, but if you do spirituality for long enough, if you get spirit, and I'm not talking about religion, fuck religion. Religion is another means of control. It's another section of the matrix that needs to come crumbling the fuck down too. Anything, okay, so I'd make it basic for you. If something you are told or something you learn about, if it's a group and they keep things secret, shut it the fuck down. The reason why is because your secrets keep you sick. So anything you're told that someone goes, keep a secret, shut it the fuck down. It's probably bullshit. And if it isn't bullshit, it's evil. Because anything kept in the darkness, and I'm not saying the darkness is completely evil. What I'm saying is what happens in darkness is things fester. Okay? There's no sunlight. There's nothing to shine light upon. So it festers. It goes bad. Even if the intentions and the creation was all sincere at the start, if it's kept secret, it goes bad. Okay? That's just how shit works. Everything needs sunlight. Everything needs the light. Everything needs, and that doesn't mean complete light. Okay, we still need the darkness. Our pineal gland only fully activates and transmutes the certain mucus needed to reach a spinal fluid to reach a gut to do the sacred secretion. Only the pineal gland can do that in complete darkness. Okay? I know that's getting, people are like, what the fuck is he talking about? Research the sacred secretion. That shit is mad. Wow, that was a game changer for me. Talk about opening your mind. That was a beautiful spiritual experience. But like I said, get spiritual. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You don't need to get informed about all the problems that are going on. Do you want to live in the solution or live in the problem? Live in the solution or live in the problem? Me, I like to live in the solution. And the solution is spirituality. Okay? A personal journey between you and the universe. You and God's source. You and the highest of highs. You and whatever the fuck you subscribe to. Okay? And the reason why is because once you have enough experience down that journey, you're autonomous. And that means that, and you're on a high frequency. Okay? Unless you're an evil fuck, all right? This isn't for evil fucks, but everything has polarities. Then, you know what I mean? If you're not going to ascend, you probably descend. And, you can either ascend into clarity and enlightenment or descend into insanity and putrosity, okay? That's up to you, Really, everything has polarities, So if you want to be an evil fuck, go and be an evil fuck. I'll come for you, in the spiritual. I'll come for you in the spiritual realm. I'm a demon slayer, you know what I mean? That's what I do in the spiritual realm. And I got a fucking mean spirit team. You know what I mean? I won't even go into the entities. I roll with an army of angels. I roll with an army of entities of light from the unknown. The Galactic Federation and all them, they fucking roll with me. 100% in the spiritual realm. And I know this to be true because I had visions, I've had dreams, I've had all that stuff where I've met my ancestors and I've met my spiritual guardians and I've met, on an emotional level, I've my heart is multidimensional, so I can feel love from my spirit team. I can feel safety. I can feel calmness from another dimension because it's protecting me. Especially in a bad situation. I'll be in a horrible situation where I think I'm going to die, or think everyone's against me, and it'll get so bad and so intense, and then I'll be on the edge of just freaking out, and then I'll just get this calm wash over me. This calm, and it's the universe holding me in its palm, telling my soul it's okay, it's going to be okay. You just keep going, doing what you do, keep going. You're on the right path, just keep going. And it stuns me sometimes. Because I'm like, but what about these fuckers? Can't you just fucking, do some fucking spiritual bombing or some shit, Bring a spiritual F1 across these motherfuckers. No, but it doesn't work like that, And God will not save you from a situation. God will protect you from a situation. You have to save yourself from situations. Yeah? Like, if you think you're being gang-stalked by a mate who's a drug dealer and you're using drugs, why do you keep going back to him to get on to use drugs? Give up the drugs. That was my personal experience, and that's just an example, okay? But that was just one area, There was many areas, but cut things out of your life that don't serve your highest purpose. Do the shadow work, do the meditation, start embracing your spiritual and psychic gifts, because we all have them. We all have the ability in some way, if we figure it out, to reach the Akashic records or the universal consciousness. We all have that. The universe has always given us the ability to access oneness with it. But we have to put in the work to be able to be well enough and clear of mind enough, and to be free from the psychological matrix that we live in, and the belief structures that we formulated in our subconscious, enough for us to be there with the universe. Because the universe won't let someone that's broken have oneness with it, because it's fragmented. The universe can be everywhere at once, but the universe will not allow someone who's fragmented mentally to access the collective consciousness, because they're fragmented. They need to do the shadow work to bring their fragmented subconscious structures of belief back into their conscious. Yeah? And I think, if you've been gang stalked before, you're a chosen one, okay? And chosen ones don't have to be gang stalked. Chosen ones similar to light workers, okay? Chosen ones, this is my opinion, right? Chosen ones, I could be wrong, like I said, I'm no fucking librarian, I haven't got a PhD in nothing. I got a PhD in fuck a fake evil motherfucker up. I got a PhD in how to be a good cunt and look like a sus cunt. What I mean? That's just, yeah. But I know within my heart the chosen ones are awakened, targeted individuals. Yeah? Light workers can also be chosen ones, but light workers don't necessarily have to be targeted individuals. Light workers are just people that intend and turn their spiritual knowledge into wisdom through action, and try to bestow knowledge and goodness and spiritual understanding to the world so that they can ascend. That's what a light worker does. And that's what chosen ones do too, but chosen ones have to ascend first, and they have to, the only thing that can wake up a targeted individual from the painful situations is enough pain. That I found, God can just wake you up. But God needs to make sure that you're ready, that you're strong enough, that you're, at the point where you're able to do so and follow your highest purpose. See, God woke me up and I was still using drugs. You know what I mean? I was still homeless. God's like, yeah, no, he's had enough. 9 years into it, he's like, yeah, no, he's had enough. So, and he woke me up. And one morning, I just felt strong. I didn't care that I was being gang stalked and surveillance. I didn't care about that because I knew that I was too protected. I just had this raging belief that I was too protected. I was too, I don't know, maybe I just seen enough, but I remember the pain of but that wasn't my first awake. That was my second awakening when I realized my power surrounding the situation. My first awakening was the pain I went through surrounding an ex that I was with that kept cheating on me and kept trying to set me up. She was demonic. She was part of a cult. They were trying to set me up for crimes of that cult, and the cult, trafficked children internationally to the royal family and the Freemasons and things like that. So it was just like, and I really loved her. She was my little sidekick, and she had these little quirks about her, these little things, and she was weirdo. Like, realistically, when I look back on it, she was a fucking weirdo. But I used to see a little micro expressions as like cute and because I was like, oh, I'm in love, But really, it was just maybe it was the hairy lasso. I don't know. It just, at the end of the day, it was a serious case of like amnesia. I was fucking. It was spell work. She was doing spell work on me. She's doing love spells and all that kind of stuff. That's when I look at it realistically. She was a witch. You know what I mean? An evil witch bitch. And so I cut her out of my life. Took a long time to cut her out. She nearly set me up like 3 separate times. Cheated on me with like 11 of my friends. I stayed with it all because I was afraid of being alone and because I was under a love spell. And I was like, I love anyway. Stupid. But, it's all right because now I've gathered enough information and knowledge from those situations that I've turned into wisdom that I don't allow anyone to treat me anywhere near as bad as that. And I don't fuck with fantasies, and I certainly don't fuck with spell work. I manifest. I don't need to hooky booky dookie shit. I don't need to, put in someone's photo in a fucking fire and do some worship and ceremonial fucking bullshit. Nah, I manifest. I manifest and I meditate and I get my knowledge from the Akashic records, and I am myself understanding from my own personal experiences. And so this is another video that I'm doing to help the target individuals and the chosen ones to help them assist and help them to ascend. And whatever you want to do spiritually, just do it. Whatever you're interested in spiritually, you might not have any interest in spirituality at all, but just start somewhere, because if you're not spiritually awakened as a targeted individual, then you don't know how to combat the gang stalking. So you're just sitting in the gang stalking, you're sitting in the problem. And you may not want to get spiritual, but spirituality is the way to have the gang stalking stop. And it's nothing to do with religion. Okay, it's about a personal journey with the universe, or higher power of your own choosing. Hopefully not a fucking evil deity like these satanic fucks. Elitist dogs. Fucking. Anyway, so yeah, I just thought I'd do another video and hopefully it helps some target individuals or some chosen ones to realize they need to spiritually ascend. So yeah, just to recap, if you want to spiritually ascend, you need to start getting, hip to this shit. You need to start looking into spiritual practices for your own personal ascension. Yeah. And meditation and shadow work are paramount, because the shadow work will help you stop the fragmentation of your subconscious, and the meditation will help you be present and also help you reach higher states of mental understanding. Anyway, look, love y'all. Using my soul tribe. I hope that this reaches you well, and I hope that you guys get something from it. Anyway, you just take care. Peace. It's light worker, by the way. Light worker. Remember that. Oh, by the way, check out my music, man. Check out my music because I just my album just dropped. It's dope as hell. It's called The Spiritual Revolution. There's 22 tracks. I put a lot of work into it. On YouTube, to check out my music, it's Light Worker Music. Okay, so just check it out. Trust me, it's worth checking out, especially for the chosen ones and the targeted individuals. I got a whole gang of that shit. You know what I mean? Because I'm a chosen one. I'm a light worker, and I was a targeted individual. All right, you just have a nice day.